Hello everyone! I'm dressing up as Ozzy today. I've got my collar on and I've made this special hat, look, with the ears and the nose. And Ozzy is dressing up as me. Look, he's wearing my scarf and he's just wrapping it round and he's pretending to be a character from a book. I think he's being in disguise today because he's chosen a story about a princess who needs to get away from a wizard. Haven't you, Oz? Okay, I'm going to let you get away for a minute. I'll have my scarf back though. You can have the hat. Okay, Oz? So, our story today, The Princess and the Wizard, has got some words in it that we need to look at before we read the story. Some of them might be a little bit tricky. Let's have a look. We've got this word here. It begins with a curly K, the letter C, except it's not saying K. What's the other sound that a C can say? He can say S, can't he? And in this word he's saying S. Let's sound it out. S, E, R, cellar. Actually, it says cellar. Cellar. Do you know what a cellar is? Underneath the house or a building. Sometimes they have rooms underground and they are called cellars. Okay, so we might come across a cellar in the story. We've also got this word in the story. Oat. Moat. And I know that you know what a moat is. Around a castle, in the olden days, they used to have a big moat full of water, and that was to protect the castle, wasn't it? So maybe there's a castle in this story with a moat around it. Now this word, we can read it, but I don't know if you'll know what it means, so we're going to talk about what it means. Ready? Bet you can read it though. Darn. Darn. Now darn is if you maybe got a hole in a sock. You might darn it, you might sew it back up. It's called darning. Okay, let's have a look over here. I'm going to take my collar off because it keeps rustling. I don't know whether Ozzy likes wearing his collar, but I don't like wearing mine. We've got the word and now this sound here can say E or E, can't he? So should we try E first and see if it makes sense? Ready? Eed-o. Meadow didn't make sense, so let's try E. Ready? Ed-o. Meadow. Meadow. And a meadow is like a field with flowers in it and grass. A pretty field. Okay? And we've got this word here. A. Oh, got a G. A G. But he's not saying G. He's saying J. Okay, so A, J. Rage. And a rage is when you have a tantrum and you're raging and you're really cross. Do you think in this story somebody might get into a rage? Shall we find out? I'm looking forward to it. Come and join me. Hi! We're going to have a look at the book now, The Princess and the Wizard. And it's by the author, the same author who wrote The Gruffalo. Can you remember her name? Yay, it was Julia Donaldson. She's amazing, isn't she? I love her books. And it's illustrated by Lydia Monks. Didn't she do our Singing Mermaid one and we copied her illustrations in one of our other programmes? We did, didn't we? And I'm going to ask you some questions as we go through this book because it's really important that when you're reading, you understand what you're reading. Luckily, we did some words together, didn't we? So you'll understand those. But I'm going to ask you some questions to see how well you're listening and if you understand the story, okay? You can just shout out the answers and Ozzy and I are listening with our listening ears, okay? Here we go. Oh, I do like Lydia Monks' illustrations. They're fantastic, aren't they? It was Princess Eliza's birthday. She was just blowing out the 7 candles on her cake when a wicked wizard flew down the chimney and into the room. "Why didn't you invite me to your party?" he thundered. Because wicked
wizards like turning people to stone," replied Princess Eliza. All right, here's a question. How old was the princess? Yay, you got it. She was 7, wasn't she? "So they do like turning people to stone," said the wizard. And with a flick of his bony fingers, he turned the king, the queen, and all the party guests into stone. Then he laughed, a horrible laugh, and said to Princess Eliza, "They like capturing princesses too." Ding, ding, ding. Just then, there was a whirring of wings, and in through the window flew the princess's fairy godmother. She was late for the party. When she saw what had happened, she waved her wand, and she said, "The princess may try 7 times to escape by changing her colour and changing her shape." The wizard just laughed his horrible laugh and said, "Changing her colour and changing her shape will never help Princess Eliza escape." Then he snapped his bony fingers again, and he turned the fairy godmother into stone. Now, can you remember, how did the author describe the wizard's fingers? What was that word? Bony! Yay, you got it, well done. The wizard whisked the princess up the chimney and carried her away to his tall, dark castle. He locked her into the cellar, and there she cried herself to sleep. I think she's scared and upset, isn't she? Where did the wizard lock the princess? What was that word that we just learnt? It was the cellar. Well done. The next day was Monday. The wizard unlocked the cellar door. He was holding the big red book which contained all his magic. "This is your first chance to escape," he said. "I shall count to 100, and then I shall come and find you." He opened his book, closed his eyes, and began to count. Do you remember when we counted in yesterday's story? Princess Eliza ran outside. The moat of the castle, oh, there it is, look all around the castle, shone blue under the blue sky. She jumped into the water and turned herself into a blue fish. Now we're going to do some counting like the wizard. Are you ready? We're going to count from 78 up to 100, and that's when he's going to go and look for Princess Eliza. Okay, 78, 79, 80, 81. Do your best wizardy voice, wicked wizard, ready? 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100. Oh, he's got to 100. What's going to happen now? The wizard opened his eyes. He looked in his magic book and he read, "To find where Eliza is hiding from you, look in the moat for the fish that is blue." The book is telling him where to find her. Oh, poor Eliza. He fished Eliza out of the moat and took her to his kitchen, which was full of blue plates and pots and pans, and they were all covered in dried up food. "So you like blue, do you? Then set to work and wash these." And he locked her in. On Tuesday morning, the wizard unlocked the kitchen door. He looked at the clean plates and pots and pans and he grunted. "Chance number 2, he said. Then he opened his book, closed his eyes and began to count. You could count in your best wizardy voice, couldn't you? Princess Eliza ran to the farmyard. She turned herself into a yellow chick and hid in some straw. But the wizard read in his book, "The straw in the farmyard is yellow and thick. Princess Eliza's disguised as a chick." Oh no, she's going to be found again, isn't she? He scooped Eliza up and took her to a cupboard which was full of yellow socks. They all had holes in them, made by his horrible pointy toenails. "So you like yellow, do you?" he said. "Then set to work and—" What was that word that we just looked at on the board that meant you had to sew something back again? "Darn, that's it. Darn them," he said, and he locked her in. So, what was the princess's punishment this time? What is the wizard going to make her do? I can't hear you. Yay! He's going to make her darn all his socks. And another question, how did he get holes in them in the first place? I think I remember, do you? I heard you! Yes, it was his pointy toenails, wasn't it? They pointed through and made holes in all his socks. Look, what horrible things to have, pointed toenails, yuck. On Wednesday morning, the wizard unlocked the cupboard door. He looked at the darned socks and he grunted. "Chance number 3, he said. And he opened his book, closed his eyes and began to count. Go on, you do your best wizardy counting. I like your wizard voice. Princess Eliza ran to the meadow. She changed herself. Oh, we learnt that word, didn't we, meadow? She changed herself into a green grasshopper and hid among the grass blades. But the wizard read in his book, "The grasshopper princess is easily seen, chirping away in the meadow so green." Where did Eliza hide this time? Began with Yes, it was the meadow. And he caught Eliza in a net and took her to his green bathroom. The bath, the basin, the walls and the floor were covered in the wizard's slimy toothpaste. "So you like green, do you?" he said. "Then set to work and wipe." And he locked her in. Oh, the poor princess, look at her. She's having to clean the bathroom and it's not a nice bathroom. Oh. 3 more days went by and each day the princess tried to escape. On Thursday, she turned herself into an orange fox and hid in a pile of orange leaves. On Friday, she turned herself into a purple butterfly and fluttered among some purple flowers. On Saturday, she turned herself into a black cat and lurked in a black tunnel. But each time, the wizard found her and gave her yet more work to do. Oh, poor Eliza. She's becoming very downhearted, isn't she? On Sunday morning, the wizard came onto the roof where Eliza had been scrubbing the sooty chimney pots, and instead of grunting, he laughed his horrible laugh. Ready? Do it with me. Oh, yours is better than mine. "This is your last chance," he said. "If I catch you this time, you must stay and work for me for the rest of your life." And he opened his eyes and his book and he began to count. Go on, you do some counting. Princess Eliza turned herself into a white gull and flew up into a cloud. But as she hovered above the roof where the wizard was still counting, she saw words forming on the page of his open book. "So that's how he finds me!" she cried. "I shall never escape if the book's telling him every time." Then she had an idea. What would you do? Well, Princess Eliza turned herself into a page of the wizard's book, a perfectly blank white page with no writing on it. 98, 99, 100! The wizard finished counting and began to read his book. The princess turned into a bird in the sky. She hid in a cloud, then she had one more try. But that was the end of the page. The wizard turned over to read more, but there was no more. The next page in his book was just a blank white page. He flew into what was that word that we learnt on the board? Rage! Ah! He's so angry because he can't find her. So, "You stupid book!" he shouted, and he hurled it into the moat. The book landed with a splash and sank to the bottom. All the wizard's magic was gone. At that moment in the palace, the king and queen and all the party guests came back to life. "Where is Princess Eliza?" they asked each other. Nobody knew except the fairy godmother, and she only smiled and said nothing. Princess Eliza had turned herself from a white page into a blue fish and was swimming to the edge of the moat. She turned herself into a yellow chick and ran across the corn in the farmyard. She turned herself into a green grasshopper and hopped over the grass. She turned herself into an orange fox and raced through the orange leaves. She turned herself into a purple butterfly and fluttered over the purple flowers. She turned herself into a black cat and streaked through the black tunnel. Then she turned herself into a white bird and flew all the way back to the palace and in through the window. She perched herself on a chair at the tea table and changed herself back into a princess. Can you remember all the things the princess changed into? Shout them out if you can remember some of the things she was. Oh yes, she was a fish. Yeah, she was definitely a chick. Oh, that's right, she was a grasshopper jumping, wasn't she? A fox, the orange fox in the orange leaves. Oh, a butterfly, a black cat in the... Oh yes, she was in that black cave, wasn't she? And a white bird. Well done, you're good at remembering, aren't you? And the king and the queen and all the party guests hugged her. So they're hugging her there, can you see in the picture? But were they angry with her? Or were they excited to see her because they hadn't seen her for ages? Or do you think that they were happy that she was back and that she was 7 years old today? Which one do you think? So do you think angry? They were angry with her? Do you think they were excited to see her because they hadn't seen her for years? Or do you think they were happy that she was back and that she was 7 years old today? I think it was that one as well. I think it was that they were happy to see her because she's 7 today, and that's a birthday to remember, isn't it? Then Princess Eliza cut her birthday cake and everyone had a slice. What a lovely ending. I'm so glad she got away from that nasty wizard. He had a horrible laugh, didn't he? Right, we're going to have a look at the days of the week because you heard them in that story, and I think it's important that we have a look at them and remember them, okay? Days of the week, days of the week, days of the week, days of the week, days of the week. There's Monday and there's Tuesday, there's Wednesday and there's Thursday, there's Friday and there's Saturday, and then there's Sunday too, days of the week.
Right, so let's have a look at the days of the week. Some of them are a bit tricky, but most of them you can sound out. Let's have a look at this one. Capitals. Why do they have capitals? Can you remember? That's right, because it's their names, isn't it? Your names get capitals too, don't they? And the days of the week do. Ready? Monday. But we don't say Monday, do we? We say Monday. The is a bit tricky, isn't he there? Monday. Now this one we can sound out. Use, choose, and then day. They all end with day, don't they? They've got the digraph A in them. Oh, this one is a bit tricky because we don't say how he's spelled. Let's have a look how he's spelled. Wed, es, Wednesday. Wednesday. We don't say Wednesday, do we? We say Wednesday. Okay, but that's a good way to remember how to spell it, Wednesday. Are you ready for this one? This is a good one to sound out. What's this digraph? What does that say? Thurs. And what have we got at the end? Just like every other day? That's right, day. Thursday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So this one, I day, Friday. And then we've got sat, day, Saturday. And the last one, Sunday. All the days of the week. How about you have a go at writing those today? See if you can do them correctly. Okay, bye, have a lovely day.